Hello and welcome back to the Attack Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Crippling Sense of Inadequacy, Jay, and joined as always is my co-host, the ever-present foreboding feeling of existential dread, Z. How are we doing today, Z?
Didn't you already do that one?
No, I didn't do that one.
You sure?
It's on my list. I have a list.
Are you positive?
I
I'm
remember.
pretty sure you literally did that like 2 weeks ago.
It was a different one. It was about your parents not loving you. That was what you're thinking of. It's
enough.
similar, I will give you that,
All right.
but it's not the same. I'd remember.
That's true.
You think me to be a fool?
They all blend together.
Yeah, they're all kind of just sad. I mean,
Yeah.
they're getting pretty good. I gotta think of new ones.
I mean, when they just hit just so close to home, I think it just reels me a little.
Do you think people like them?
I don't know.
If anyone listening,
like
maybe
them
they would.
Yeah. Some will tell us. Tell us if you like them or don't.
If you have suggestions, tell me. I probably won't do them.
Probably won't change regardless.
Yeah, if you.
I don't know. We're at like 7 in. It's a bit of a pattern. It'd be weird if we just stopped doing them now.
Yeah, it might ruin the continuity of the shot.
All right. So we just watched James Gunn, The Suicide Squad.
James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I almost
Let's keep our English together, shall we?
All right. Okay. Forget one apostrophe and an S. All right, Jack. So what do you think?
I thought it was very good.
I
Thoroughly
really liked
enjoyed
it. Yeah, it was real good.
I know.
Probably.
I remember when we were talking about it earlier. I saw quotes that Margaret was like, "This is probably the greatest superhero movie, one of the best superhero movies," and I was like, "Is it?" But then you rightfully pointed out that James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy, and both of those are really good. So why wouldn't this one be?
At this point, I'm kind of sick of every superhero movie that comes out is the best superhero movie.
That's how they do movies, though.
She said that like a week or two ago, though, right?
Yeah.
And I think I told you at the time we were talking about it. It's like she's gonna say that because it's her movie, and that's fine. Like I'm not like good on her. I think it is very good. Like it's probably in the stratosphere of that.
Oh yeah.
It's certainly in.
It's certainly the best DC movie ever made.
I was gonna say maybe early to say, but it's probably the best DC movie, maybe ever.
Yeah.
I guess other than like maybe The Dark Knight. I love The Dark Knight. I don't even.
But those
I won't get into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. It's especially of like the modern like whatever they call it
From Man of Steel onward, the
Yeah.
DCEU.
I don't they not even call it that though. Like internally, I think Warner Brothers has a problem with that, but fuck them.
They have a problem with everything.
Yeah, it's the best of those for sure.
100%.
By a significant margin. It's so. I guess we rightfully so. It's going to draw a lot of comparisons to the other one, right?
The David Ayer Suicide Squad from 2016.
And in a lot of ways, it's not dissimilar, is it?
No, I mean it's the same premise.
I was just going to say, yeah, actually, in a lot of ways, yeah, it's very similar. Like, if I had like one big problem with it, it's probably that is that like a lot of it is very familiar ground.
To cover.
In some ways, I guess it's inevitable, like doing another Suicide Squad movie so soon.
Yeah, and kind of rebooting it in a way.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess though it's much more of a reboot than I would have anticipated. Because yeah, it is a very similar premise. Not just that it's a Suicide Squad movie, but like essentially it's a big monster they're going to fight, and like I don't know, it hits a lot of similar story beats. All the members are much better in this, and they're all. Well, I guess not all, but most of them are more fleshed out. The ones who are actually in the movie.
Yeah, not at the beginning. Because obviously spoilers.
Yeah,
major spoilers. A lot, like James Gunn said, and it's true. Was where a lot of almost all the characters die.
I feel like every week we don't say spoilers until we've already spoiled them.
This time we didn't. Actually, we didn't actually spoil anything.
Well, I kind of. Oh yeah, not directly.
Yeah, we just say a lot of the characters die, but that was kind of par for the course.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like everyone dies.
So
there are like 5 who don't. 5 people don't die.
It's 4, right?
No. Well, actually 3 people don't die because 2 of them are monsters. Because the 5 that survive are Harley Quinn.
Oh, Weasel.
Yeah,
I was trying to.
King Shark.
Also, technically,
Ratcatcher and Bloodsport.
It's only Peacekeeper.
Oh yeah, Peacekeeper. You're right. I forgot about him.
But yeah, so the characters are definitely better, more fleshed out. But the premise is similar. Like they're going into a place to stop a big monster. That's actually kind of very similar.
Big monster kind of has like powers.
I was gonna say, well, yeah, and it has like turned the inhabitants into like their own army. Like that literally happened in the last one.
Yeah, they turned the
Enchanters had like yeah. So,
at least see.
I guess it's not his fault. I mean, he could have. We're gonna nitpick the movie, because it's the nature of this type of thing. We did very much like it.
We thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
I feel like he probably could have done some of that, and I guess it's not necessarily his fault. Like, because that's a good premise for a Suicide Squad movie. If this had been the only one, it'd be great. It's only because we got one, not 5 years ago that it's kind of like, this feels a little like samey, because it does.
It like almost, it's the same beats exactly.
I remember at the time when this movie was announced thinking like, man, they're going to do another one? Like, it seems pretty quick. And while this is much better, and I guess I can't complain, like, I really enjoyed it, after seeing it, I can't disagree with that. I still think that holds true. Is that it's probably a little too soon for it. But yeah, the characters are way better. I will say, Bloodsport is kind of just
a good
Deadshot.
Yeah, 100% he is.
Which, like, I remember when Idris Elba was cast for this movie, the rumor at the time was that he literally was just recasting Deadshot. He was just replacing Will Smith in that role. And while he didn't, he also kind of just did.
Yeah, they all, essentially, Deadshot, Bloodsport, and Peacekeeper. They make a joke in the movie of, like, them all having kind of the same backstory. Because, that's one of the big things I guess I'll mention, is that, like, it's just a funny movie. It's just very funny.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, that's definitely the one thing. Again, we're going to be nitpicking it, but it does comedy infinitely better than the 2016 one, in that it does
comedy at all
for the most part,
or like most of the comedy in the 2016 one just comes from Harley Quinn being like weird and goofy, and like Ken Boomerang being an Australian man.
It's not funny. I guess he did try. Credit where credit's due. It's not like it's a totally like lifeless film that he tried to be overly dark, although it is overly dark palette wise.
Yeah, it's
color.
Yeah, it's at night in a weird stormy building. Like it's
but he does try comedy. David Ayer does, to his credit, but it's not. This definitely lands better, and this is more comedy for sure. It's comedy through and through. It's got a very similar tone to like
Guardians or something. Yeah, literally just Guardians. It is James Gunn.
Yeah, we're probably going to draw a lot of comparisons to that as well. But again, the characters are way better, even if some of them are similar. Like obviously, Harley's just Harley. I think she was pretty good in this movie. She's
I think so too.
At this point, literally like one of the like mainstays of the DCEU. Like, she's
got her own. She's got that animated show. She's got her own movie.
Well, that's not Margot Robbie Harley Quinn.
Well, but that's the character.
I just mean in the DCEU here. But of course, Harley Quinn's very popular nowadays. Well, she's been popular since her inception.
But now she's a good guy. She's been a good.
Well, she's also been a good guy for a good while too, right?
And now she's like works with Batman and all that.
The Suicide Squad has essentially just been good guys for a good while now.
But recently in the comics, Superboy's joined the team.
Mm-hmm. But what I was saying is Margot Robbie in particular, like Margot Robbie,
her iteration of the character,
Harley Quinn, is now in. Next out of town. She's in what? I guess this is only her third movie. Well, now it seems kind of weird to say.
It's a little bit. She's mentioned in
Batman v Superman. Or
in Justice League.
She is. Yeah. She's like good in that.
I hate that scene. I hate that scene
That's the best part of it. Well,
that part. Now, see, we're getting off track, and this is a whole other Snyder rant. Is a whole different thing. So you know what? We're not even going to get into it.
Batman's little rant in that scene is
hilarious.
It's not great.
But
that part is interesting. The idea of like, hey, Harley Quinn was like good, and she was like my friend, and you're the worst.
No, there's too much. I think there is. I think there's too much context. There's too much unseen context to that scene.
Well, they try to not give you the context. Like it's a lot of telling, not showing, right?
Yeah.
It's just exposition, that whole scene. But whatever, you're right. Probably need to get super into that.
But anyway, that's one of the. Just this film, I think, is obviously just definitively better than David Ayer's. Even his cut, even his big cuts he's always talking about.
Yeah, we'll probably get to that.
Would probably be better because this movie just has color and like takes place during the day in like a Spanish Latin American thing. So there's like a lot of bright colors and whites and. There's the jungle and stuff. Like, there's a lot of, like, different palettes he uses.
And I think
like James that rain scene as well.
Yeah. I think James Gunn has a better handle on what the Suicide Squad is. If only in that he kills some of them. And not like in the David Ayer one, which is one of them runs away and gets their head blown off, which is that's par for the course for a Suicide Squad movie. You gotta have at least one. Or a Suicide Squad story, I should say. But the only other one who dies in that movie is... El Diablo, who like sacrifices himself heroically at the end, which is all well and good, but like this one is obviously full of
deaths,
like very unceremonious deaths by this squad, because that's like the whole point.
Is that they're they're not meant to be heroes. They're
Right.
just doing the dirty work.
The whole premise of what the Suicide Squad is doesn't really work if none of them die. Because then they're just like the Avengers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, if they're... No, but really, like, if they just come together and they're like a plucky team who, like, makes it out and they're all good guys in the end or whatever, then there's nothing to distinguish them. The whole point of the Suicide Squad is that they die.
Or they do bad things. They do bad things and they die.
Right, of course. But I just mean, like, they are expendable. That's the whole point. And if you don't actually show them being expendable, it doesn't work. And this does, because he obviously kills the overwhelming majority of them. Even, like, some of the ones...
That I thought were going to stick around. I was going to say, like, in the opening, he kills half of them off the bat. Like, they land... Like, Rick Flag and Harley get a team of, like, a bunch of people. But, I mean, a lot of them are kind of throwaways, like... Pete Davidson's character and Mongol and Arm Fall Off Boy and Mongol, thank you. You're right. And Savant and all those guys and Weasel. And obviously those guys are like, well, we don't really know them, so they're probably gonna die. But Captain Boomerang's there. I was like, oh, he'll probably live.
Yeah,
and then he just dies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess they just got rid of him, which
that did surprise me that they killed.
But probably just to develop the new characters. Because, like, they only keep Harley around and Rick Flag around, and they actually don't keep him around. He dies.
Yeah. Well, see, yeah. Because after the disastrous beach landing scene there, he doesn't kill anyone until, like... He doesn't kill anyone else until after the halfway point.
After Star was released.
Is when the rest of them start dropping. So, like, he kind of lulls you in because you're like, oh, they killed half of them. Surely they're probably done. And then, no, they keep dropping. Even, like, again, the ones who have actual, like, character.
Like Polka Dot Man or...
Yeah, because, again...
Or Rick.
And not to tear into David Ayer too much or whatever. We don't want his fanboys on us, apparently, because he's got some of those too now. But...
I'll go show DC fanboys.
A lot of his... None of the characters in that have any depth. No. Other than maybe...
Harley Quinn
maybe. And Deathstroke. Or not Deathstroke, Deadshot. But none of the other ones. Whereas in this one, they all have depth. And it's not all, like... It's not all masterful necessarily,
but there's like a layer to them.
There's something to them. It's better than nothing. Let's put it like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, sure, Ratcatcher 2, her thing is she literally like exposits to you. She does a little monologue.
She just tells her entire life,
but she does it, and you get stuff,
and it kind of develops, and then it like calls back to it at the end, and it like develops.
Actually, I really liked that. Yeah. Touch on her. I guess let's talk about the main ones then.
So the main team.
So, like we said. Bloodsport, he's kind of just Deadshot, really. Like, he was fine. Idris Elba was good. He's funny for the most part. I think his best joke was when Peacemaker was... What did he say? He's like, no one likes to be explained or whatever. Or, like, he doesn't like anyone... He's like, no one likes to show off. He's like, he does if they're fucking sick or whatever.
It's cool.
And it's like, fuck you're right.
I think that was a good joke. My favorite joke of, like, Peacemaker and him together was when Manowar meets him, and she's like, everyone's picked for their own unique skills. This is Peacemaker. Anything's a weapon in his hands. He was trained by his father. And he's like, wait, are you fucking with me right now?
Are you joking?
He's doing he's the same thing I do. And he goes, no, I shoot close to the center because my bullets are smaller. And they kind of call back to it, which I think is funny, which is a great callback.
That was like, that's the type of thing that, I mean, not to pump his brakes or pump him up too much here, but I don't know. I feel like that's the type of thing James Gunn's good at, right? It's like, that was a joke that called back to, like, an actual scene at the end of the movie.
That was important.
And, like, it was just a funny banter of them just being idiots, just, like, dick measuring. And then at the end, when it happened, I was like, that was fucking sick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was so cool. He did have smaller bullets.
He literally had the smaller bullets, and he won.
Like, that was cool. Like, that's the type of stuff he's good at. It's like, his movies have heart, and they're funny, and, like, all together. And he obviously loves family. He's always talking about families in his movies. There's not so much of that in this one, but, like, they're tight at the end.
It's really the family, really just Ratcatcher and Bloodsport.
So I guess I'm dogging on him a bit for being very similar to Deadshot's character, but I should say, he's better.
Oh,
he's better than Will Smith's Deadshot, so he gets to win. If anything, again, it almost feels like unfair to this movie. Like, I wish this one just was first and just was the only one, because it'd be untainted by this.
Nothing but praise.
Harley, I don't know. I kind of thought she would do a little more in this one. I was glad she didn't die, at least.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, well, I don't know, maybe she's already had her fill, and maybe she'll die. I'm glad she's not dead, so she could return.
In other movies.
Because I think Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is one of the most enduring parts of the DCU at this point.
Oh, definitely.
Whatever of it remains. That is.
The shambling mess that it is.
I mean, you wouldn't know because you've refused to watch Birds of Prey, apparently.
I just didn't have any interest in it, man.
Okay, all right. But she's cool, so
Don't give me that. Don't go on. All
What
right.
do you want me to say?
I don't know nothing.
She
I don't
watched the
even
movie.
want you to bring it out.
Yeah, you did. You wouldn't have, would you?
But fuck, you're editing this one too, so I can't even cut it out if I wanted to.
So
damn.
she's, I guess that's probably why she isn't in it as much, because she had her own movie and she was also in the other one.
Yeah.
So I can't complain too much.
But we didn't have Jared Little Joker with damage on his forehead. That was real good.
I was very glad that she killed the president in that scene when she did, because we watched it together, obviously. And I was telling you, I was like, I don't know if I like this. Like, really? She's just gonna fall in love. Like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of lame.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't usually put up too much of a guff about this kind of stuff, but I was like, this is kind of lame. For Harley Quinn's character in particular, not just that she's like a woman or whatever, but like her character in particular is all about her shitty relationship with the Joker. It was a big part of Suicide Squad. It was a big part of Birds of Prey. So it did seem weird.
But backwards.
It seemed like such a regression. So then when she literally was like, no, I do know, like, I have learned from my mistakes and whatever. I thought that was really cool.
No, I like when she uses her like acrobatic skill to like break that guy's neck and then steal the keys and like unlock herself with her feet. That was super cool. And then she breaks herself out.
Man, you know what other movie has scenes like that? It's almost like she has her own like
The Prestige?
like a solo movie almost that is almost just Harley Quinn.
I wish they did, Zach. I'll never know.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
but no, I agree. That was cool when she was shooting all the guys in the hallway.
It's a little spin action.
Super cool.
She's got the javelin. I like that she was like, "What? What did I use the javelin for?"
See, again, that was very good because it like that was actually almost the opposite of the other thing. This whole movie, she's like, "Well, I gotta figure out what did he give me the javelin for." I think the real answer is that he was just dying. He was just like, I gotta say something.
Yeah, exactly.
Clearly, because he didn't know.
He didn't know that Starro was gonna be there.
He didn't know. So like that was just fun. The whole time she's like, I gotta know. And then like when she's like, I gotta listen to God. It's because she's just crazy. She's just an insane person. And so at the end, she just jumps in his eye with it. It's like that almost was the reverse. It's like it started as I don't know. I guess it's the same kind of thing. Well, I guess it still was a joke, though. Like, there was no conclusion to that. In her head, she was like, I cracked it. This is what it was all about. But it really wasn't. Like, that was nothing.
That was nothing. You just kind of figured out for yourself. Yeah, having to be a big, giant monster there.
It's pure happenstance that even worked.
I expected it not to work because it's just a javelin.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I thought his eye would be thicker than that.
No, but she got right in there.
And all the rats got in his eye. It was... Oh, I do not like all the rats. The imagery of all those rats running over people and killing them and running up Starro and into his eye, I was like, this is grotesque. I do not like this. I liked Ratcatcher, but...
Well, let's talk about Ratcatcher, too, then.
I enjoyed her character. She was nice.
Yeah, she's cool.
I like that she makes friends with King Shark, even though he tries to eat her.
Yeah.
I thought her and Polka Dot Man were going to kind of have a thing. That she was going to kind of help him be not so crazy. But then he just kind of died.
Well, like, as you said... literally, like, seconds after he died, we were watching it because he goes, I'm a superhero! And then he gets smushed. You're like, oh, yeah. Well, he resolved his trauma.
Yeah,
so
his arc was done. So they're like, get rid of you now. You're done. We got your thing done.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
But that's kind of makes sense because when we were watching, I was like, oh, okay, Polka Dot Man is going to use his powers to dissolve Starro and win.
Yeah, I think that's probably why. I mean, not that it ended up being much longer after that anyways. I mean... instead of Polka Dot Man just using his powers to beat her,
Ratcatcher.
Yeah, she just used her powers to beat him. So it kind of, it happened like a minute later anyway. But maybe you're right. It's like it would have been too easy if he just
dissolved him with his weird space fires.
Just all the way dead.
I also want to talk about... No, we're talking about Ratcatcher right now, so we'll keep it on Ratcatcher.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi uses Ratcatcher 1 and does heroin and dies, and uses rats for warmth. Horrifying.
That was horrifying.
I hated that. That's so
But it was
gross.
supposed to be. So he did that really well, too. This is kind of like, he's got, some of his older movies are kind of weird and gross and a bit much. And like, that's almost kind of the type of attitude that got him canceled.
Oh,
a couple years
really?
ago was, well, yeah, like those tweets which were like edgy and like, obviously kind of gross. Because that's what James Gunn used to do. That's kind of what he was about more back in the day. Now he's like,
chilled out.
chiller.
Got that Marvel
But
money.
it came out a little more in this movie.
Because he
Which
just
I
had
thought was
King
kinda
Shark
fun.
eat people.
Yeah, or ripping people in half.
Or that scene. It also just gets kind of dark. Like when they kill that entire camp of people because they think Rick Flag is being captured and they go, okay, why didn't nobody tell me you were here? And they're like,
the way everyone dies in the beginning, the weird like lab where they're fucking with the Starro victims, Starro, where they got the one with no legs, and
or they got the one that's face ripped off. And they got the organs.
Yeah,
it's
gross.
It's really gross.
Or
even the thinker, like all the things in his brain.
But yeah, the rat stuff is that too. On the one hand, it's like the rats are good; they're on our team.
Like Sebastian's pretty cool. He's got the little vest on. I love him. He's so cute. He waves.
Yeah, they were kind of gross, and that scene in particular, I wasn't as bothered by the rats as you for the majority of it.
But that scene got us both. I was like, oh.
when they cover them like a blanket, horrific.
Yeah,
horrifying.
They just sleep in the street and he does heroin.
Because when he was like, why do you love rats so much? She's like, why do you hate rats so much? I literally said to you, I was like, because they carry disease.
Because they're gross
We have
animals.
a reason we hate rats. Yeah. But then I did like at the end when Taika Waititi was like, they're rats. Like everyone hates them and they're awful.
But if they have purpose, we all do.
And I was like, that's actually good. Really nice.
Which I think is why she gets the kill for Starro. Like she gets to overwhelm him. Because like if Polka Dot Man just kills him with space viruses, it's not really like, oh, okay, he was the strong. He and King Shark are the strongest, like quote unquote. So,
although King Shark may have been the most useless.
Yeah, Amanda Waller was like, we need him. We need him to get in.
He was good. He was kind of nice because he was kind of like dumb and just kind of friendly.
Well,
when they got through to
kind of friendly
to them.
Yeah,
and like he was just kind of like
he had like a cool name, like a weird like Nanawe or something.
Yeah, but he was almost useless. When they're like, he's the strongest member of your team. No, he's not. In what metric?
He's more.
Maybe he can bench press the most, but
he's the most durable because he falls from a building and then gets shot.
He was almost indestructible. They shot him a bunch, and he never.
It didn't even pierce his skin.
So I guess he's real strong in that sense. But yeah, he's not the most powerful by any means.
Oh yeah,
he's like the most strong in the way like the Hulk is the most strong, but the Hulk is not the most powerful Avenger.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah,
he's not the most useful. The Polka Dot Man can dissolve things with Polka Dot virus.
Yeah.
Space virus.
So now, okay, let's do Polka Dot Man now. So I looked up, so the background of why Polka Dot Man is picked, James Gunn came out and said, at least, I think for this guy, he said, I'm going to pick what is the dumbest comic book character that exists? And he said, Polka Dot Man. He's the dumbest one.
I think he's wrong, though.
I think Kite Man is dumber.
I don't know. I think Kite Man's on level. Probably.
Wheelman.
I think one of the other characters in this movie is dumber.
The Arm Fall Off Boy.
Yeah, Arm Fall Off Boy is dumber than Polka Dot Man. Because Polka Dot Man you could do well. Like, they didn't. But, like, the Spot, right? Yeah. That's a different Batman villain? I mean, it's different, so, like, you can't. But if you did something to that effect, of, like, you throw the spots and they're, like, portals and shit, that's cool.
So, what the thing with Polka Dot Man is, in the comics, is that all his polka dots are just like trick polka dots that just do different things based on their colors. Like one sets things on fire and one does electricity and stuff. But in this one, they just give him like a disease, which like makes him grow these weird like tumors on his face, and then he has to release. Yeah. I don't know if he's pissing or something. It's real strange.
He probably just put him on his arms like he did.
Yeah,
any other time.
Yeah, he probably just like puts his hands out. Yeah. But and they kind of make, like, his mom... I mean, it's interesting that his mom just, like, killed all his brothers and sisters, just wanted to be a superhero.
Yeah. They don't do as much with him, though.
No, not really. I thought they were
he does come to think where he's like, I am a superhero. So, like, he has that moment. But that's weird, because that's what his mom wanted, not what he wanted.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about. And then he does die.
Gets smushed.
He is, like, probably, like, third or fourth, I guess fourth or so. In terms of, like, development, but probably down there. Yeah. Peacemaker doesn't really change at all. He gets, obviously, a lot of play, though.
He does. He's pretty interesting.
He's pretty funny. I couldn't tell. It seemed like he kind of went back and forth between, like, the serious... I guess maybe this is the joke. When it's easy, he's like, oh, I'm serious. But then, like, as soon as you kind of give him any guff, that facade just breaks. He'll just be, like... He'll just be whining with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Like, just petty... Like... But Peacemaker was a similar kind of thing. I mean, again, they had their own little, like, dick measuring contest there. Because he walks out of his cell and he's all like, I'm tough. Oh, yeah, at your service, ma'am. And then as soon as he's like, oh, my bolts are smaller. No, I'm cool.
My bullets go through your bullet holes. They don't even touch the sides. And they're making fun of King Shark. They're like, oh, what is he trying to read a book upside down? I didn't think it was funny.
That was funny.
Oh, I thought it was funny when they get Polka Dot Man out of his cell, and Calendar Man calls him a pussy.
Yes, that was very funny. The cameo of Sean Gunn as Calendar Man.
It's like, hey, you fucking pussy, you got polka dots at my daughter's birthday party?
That's good. It was fleeting, obviously, and like it's nothing called to it, but he's got the months written across his head.
Yeah,
so you
around
can
the
see
circle.
He's Calendar Man.
He's always easy for Batman to catch in the comics because Batman just figures out what day he's talking about.
Yeah.
There's only so many holidays and like special days he can do.
Right.
It's like, oh, a day that falls in December. He's like, is it Christmas? And he's like, well, maybe it's Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we kind of said everything there's to say about King Shark. He doesn't do much. I guess Peacemaker. I will say I was kind of surprised that he was just kind of bad. I mean, I guess I should have got that from
His like
the
idea.
trailers. Like,
Yeah.
when he says he's like, I want peace, and I'd kill every
Man, woman, and
I
child
don't
to
care
get
how
it.
many men, women, and children I have to kill to get it.
And then Record's like, I thought you were crazy. And Polka Dot Man's like, I am the crazy one. And
So, like, I guess that should have. No, but he's just bad. And that's kind of interesting for his show, that he's just, like, crazy, but, like, crazy just in a shitty way.
yeah,
That he, obviously, I mean...
he does make a good point though when they get to the lab and Rick's like, I gotta get this out. He's like, I can't let you do that. Like, Amanda told me to stop you and destroy this and like stop anyone who tried to. Which I don't know why Rick Flag's doing that. Like they kind of like again this movie, Rick Flag does the same thing twice because in the first one,
Yeah?
he's like, what is Amanda doing to me? Why am I stuck here? I don't like the government. I want to team with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
they're my friends.
Like I said... I don't know. Because, yeah, a lot of it is just, like, very natural to put in a Suicide Squad story as a movie like this. So you can't fault it too much, but at the same time, you're just like, shit. Wish we just got it in the better version.
Yeah,
But yeah.
exactly.
That is kind of weird. It's like, why is he still part of it after the last one? Also, like I said to you, like, why are they making him do it?
Yeah.
He's like a colonel. A lot of his stuff doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense, but he's like some kind of special forces colonel. I don't know why he's still on the ground if he's a full bird colonel, but that's beside the point. Also, he's very young to be a colonel, but all that aside, it's like, why are they making him do this?
Yeah, do all
He's
this.
just a good guy. He's an American hero. And
Yeah, he's like an American soldier. Like, why are they making him do like weird special ops?
he's like a war hero, and they're like, you have to babysit all these super criminals.
Yeah, that you don't have any powers though. So if they wanted to kill you, they just could. And because like if King Shark wanted to eat Rick, he could just do it, and then Amanda wouldn't be able to stop him because they have to unlock that box to kill them.
Because the Suicide Squad, they live up to their name, obviously. As per this, a lot of them die. He dies.
Yeah, he literally Peacemaker literally kills him.
He very clearly could have died at any point, because he did.
He did.
And he was just a good guy.
He doesn't
deserve that.
He's not the one with the bomb in his neck. He's the one who can just say no and walk away.
In the last movie, they had it because he loved
The woman.
Enchantress or whatever. That was why, right?
But at this point, what makes it seem as though like he's done a ton of missions because him and Harley are friends.
Yeah, they could have gotten tight in the interim.
And he's like, Rick was my friend. I really liked him. And I'm crazy.
He's like pretty chill about it nowadays. He's like, "Hey guys, let's go do a mission." He's less uptight than he was in the last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's strange that why they're making him do it still.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess we should talk about Starro. We didn't really talk about him at all.
Right.
I think it's stuff to say, right? I'm not familiar with Starro.
So Starro, the Conqueror, actually has like a pretty long history. He's very much in the same line as Kang, where we didn't think we'd tie back to Marvel, but I did, and it's natural. Where he's kind of obscure unless you read the comics. Obviously now people probably know him more because he's in a movie. But he's actually the first villain of the Justice League. Like the first issue of the Justice League, is them fighting Starro.
In, like, the 60s?
Oh yeah, it's just them fighting Starro. So he's a
You
very
say of the Justice League. You mean the Justice League or like the Justice Society?
no, I mean the Justice League, like
the first time
Superman,
they did an
Batman,
actual-
Wonder
the
Woman.
Justice- That's cool.
Yeah, so he's like the first villain.
Were you surprised that he died? That they
I
just killed it?
wasn't super surprised that he
Okay.
died because he's so big at this point. He would have taken over the world, and there's no real Justice League. It's not like a comic book,
Yeah.
where they can like do justice. They can like do a Starro story, put Starro in the Suicide Squad, and then be like, okay, but now in the Justice League, they're gonna actually deal with Starro because they deal with him a lot.
That's actually kind of a problem with either of the Suicide Squad movies. Actually,
They deal with
is
really
that they take place in this connected universe supposedly. Why don't the actual superheroes just show up?
well. I mean, to give David Ayer any credit, in this one, Superman's dead, so the team
Is he?
Yeah, that's why they start doing the Suicide Squad, because Superman isn't around. Because that movie starts with Amanda Waller, like, the funeral of Superman.
Oh, the David... Of course.
Yeah, the
no,
David
you're
Ayer
right.
one.
That is true.
But in this one, they just go, yes, Bloodsport...
Batman's still around, though. Batman's in that movie.
He is in that movie. That's true.
But you're right. Superman is the big one. Because, like, Batman is almost on par with a lot of these guys capability-wise.
And the Flash hasn't really been shown.
Yeah.
Martian Man
The
is
big
still-
one's Superman, though, because Superman should be alive at this stage, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess it's... No. Whichever Justice League is canon, he's still alive.
I don't even know which one is canon.
He's still alive.
He's
though.
alive
He
in both
comes
of them.
back in both of them. So, like, he would have just flown through Starro.
Yeah, and just destroyed him. Because if Harley Quinn can use just a sharp stick,
Just a stick.
and
Actually,
rats
that's
can
weird.
eat him.
Now I think about it. Because they shoot them with a lot of bullets, and they all just bounce off.
and Starro flies through space. So,
But she just pokes him with this. I guess maybe the javelin did have got
magic.
her.
But anyway, back to Starro. So obviously in the movie, he makes these little like probes that are all part of him.
That's from comics. I've seen
Yeah,
that
that's from
stuff.
comics, and that just makes him bigger. So he starts out small, and it depends on what comic he's in, how big he gets. But usually, as comics goes on from his first appearance, he just gets bigger. And at one point, he takes over like a whole planet, like he takes over like a galaxy, I think, at one point, or a solar system. He's like just big versions of him on planets. But also, what's fun about Starro is that eventually he becomes Jarro, who, if you don't know, in the Death Metal Darkest Nights event, Jarro just shrinks down. I don't know why exactly. Shrinks down to be like a small starfish. It's about as big as one of his
fit in a
probes.
jar?
He can fit in a jar.
I was going to ask you why he's called Jarro.
Because he's in a jar.
Very good.
And he becomes like very close with Batman up until the point where like he becomes a Robin and wears his little Robin suit and throws Robin rangs
During the Darkest
during
Night?
the Darkest Night, and he fights the entire Legion of Doom by himself wearing a Robin suit, and is like, take that, evildoer. Like he talks like a little kid. And at one point, he like kind of freaks out and gets all like real big Starro, and he's like, "I'm gonna take over your mind." And Batman's like, "Hey, stop that! You're not like that anymore." And he's like, "Oh, you're right." And he calls him Dad and like hugs him and stuff. And he's like, "Am I your favorite Robin, Dad?" He's like, "You are, Starro." And it's really funny, but I don't think it's canon, or maybe it is canon because that event makes everything canon. Spoilers for
it's one of those.
Death Metal.
Well, yeah, the way that DC usually does things is that everything is canon. Just, it's gone.
No, this time everybody remembers in this one. No, I think in this one, literally, it's everything is canon and exists.
Whatever. I'm just saying. DC often does that thing where it's like, that all happened, we just wiped it.
Yeah, they just don't remember anymore.
Like, it did happen. It's not like we retconned it out of existence necessarily. It's
But
just,
now that
no,
it is
none
reduced
of
to
it.
atoms.
Yeah,
only
gone.
only the new gods remember.
But
But yeah, I think Starro's cool.
I think
Starro.
he was good for this, yeah.
Also,
Again,
he's like there's a Marvel character who's a villain of Doctor Strange who is just also a big space starfish. But that's
With
just
a
the
big
thing
eye.
the comics do.
Yeah.
Is that they all copy each other. Every DC character is every Marvel character.
Literally
They're all-
every single one.
Yeah, every single one that's anyone becomes one
Well, here's
eventually.
the question. Has Starro and Dr. Fate ever fought? Because then that's just the same thing.
No, Dr. Fate is different than Starro. Because Starro isn't mystical, and Dr. Fate is. Dr. Fate also is
Well,
like
fuck
just,
me then.
just Society of America. Shows that you know. Read a comic, you fucking loser.
What? The Justice Society of America has never fought
I don't
Starro?
think they've ever fought Starro.
What, have you read every issue?
Fuck. You know what? I'm looking up right now. I don't give a shit.
Speaking of, I mean, well, okay. Unless, do you have anything to say about the movie? I mean, like, we liked it. I don't know. We probably got our piece in. Here's the thing. I mean, we're not reviewers.
We aren't.
If you don't like it or do like it, I don't know.
I don't give a shit
I don't
if
know
you
what to
liked it
tell
or
you.
not. I'm glad if you
There's
did,
other people who
good
said
on
better.
you.
They're gonna say better things than us.
Yeah.
As far as actual reviews,
We don't. We're not like
Go watch
film
the-
majors. We
yeah.
like do good things with our college degrees. You can. I want Zach to leave that in, by the way. I don't care.
If you want to, it's someone's made. Or when I say someone, I mean dozens of men have made Easter egg videos at this point. Go watch
With
those.
their big
You get it.
red
We liked
circles.
it.
I mean, fuck the weekly. I mean,
Movie's
yeah.
pretty fun.
It's a great movie.
What I was gonna say is something you said earlier is that James Gunn read.
Yeah, I saw.
You said 85% of all the Suicide Squad material,
Yeah,
which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. Credit to him, but that's not crazy. I mean, Suicide Squad is kind of it's not like a mainstay.
Yeah,
I mean, it only came about in what, the 80s.
Yeah,
and then
give or
it comes
take.
and goes from then. It's not like one of those ones that's been, a consistently published book since the fucking 40s. It's not Detective Comics or anything, of course. But that's still very cool. That's great. You love to see it.
That's what he should do. And
Yeah.
that's going to tie into a little bit of my Snyder rant. Also, I just looked it up. He has fought Captain Carrot and his amazing Zoo Crew.
No?
He's just fought the Justice League. He was in the Justice League Avengers crossover. He was in Teen Titans. He was in Booster Gold. Yeah. So he's never fought the JSA and he's never fought Dr. Fate. So they're not quite like Doctor Strange,
Damn.
Dr. Fate, but
Drat.
you were close.
Was Zatanna on the Teen Titans when they fought?
I don't know. I'm not
She's also kind of Doctor Strange.
They're
I'm
all
taking
kinda,
it.
So is
No.
John Constantine.
I'm gonna say
No, I think John
No.
Constantine is more Doctor Strange than
I
any-
disagree. Zatanna's more Doctor Strange. Zatanna does magic. John Constantine just
Does
is a
magic
demon
too.
or whatever. Kind of.
He does magic. He does magic all the time.
He's like Ghost Rider or something though, because he's hell.
He's
He's
not
all about
really
hell.
Ghost Rider.
Yes, he is. He gave his soul to the devil or whatever.
No, but he got it back though. He tricked him. He got it back.
Whatever.
I think so.
He's much more like Ghost Rider than in that aspect. I would argue, Jack.
But Ghost Rider is also a Marvel character, so it's not quite the same.
If we're trying, you said we were trying to find the Marvel equivalent of the DC character John Constantine. It's not Doctor Strange. There's no way. It's Doctor Fate is Doctor Strange.
Okay, well, yes,
Of course.
but if you're going Zatanna, John Constantine is not that far away from Zatanna. They're both magic users. They both do spells and shit.
yeah, but John Constantine's like demons and the devil. It's
They all
different.
do magic.
Kind of.
Okay, Doctor Strange does Mephisto. He's the devil,
No, he's not the Christian devil.
but he's
not
still
Lucifer.
he is a devil. Anyway, we're getting way off track.
He doesn't rule hell. He rules
Rules
the
hell.
nightmare dimension.
No, that's
That's not
Nightmare.
the
No,
same.
Nightmare rules the Nightmare dimension. That's why he's called Nightmare.
You're
Who's
right.
also a
Mephisto
Doctor
is the dark
Strange.
dimension.
Yeah. No,
Still
Dormammu.
different.
No, Dormammu
Oh,
is the
fuck.
dark dimension.
What does Mephisto do?
He's hell. He's
Are
the
you
devil.
sure? That's what
Yes.
it's called? It's not called hell. What's it called?
I fucking now I literally took my phone down to look it up. I hate you.
All we were trying to say with that is that Zack Snyder doesn't read comic books.
That was
and you
my
can tell.
Yeah. Hold on. I've been looking something on my phone, and I got a rant about Zack Snyder. Hold on.
Probably shouldn't get it too much. Well, okay, so
Yes,
what?
it's hell.
Alright, fine,
Fuck you.
fine. The thing about
So here's my thing. I'm gonna do my little. Can I do my
yeah,
thing?
go ahead.
I'm moving away from the mic a lot, so hopefully that sounds good. So editing Zach, make it sound good or something. I don't know, or don't. I don't
See
care.
what I can do.
Not you editing Zach. You're not. You're recording Zach.
It will be the same man.
Really? Will we the same river? I doubt it. Anyway, so my big thing with Zack Snyder is that he's never read a comic book in his fucking life. Like, not one. I truly believe that he is basically just like some weird dude bro who knows a guy who really likes comics and went, hey, I'm about to write a Batman story. What should I do?
And
And
he read Watchmen, and he was
he-
like, "This is cool.
this is every
Comics are
superhero
for
movie.
nerds." He, Zack Snyder, I fear, is the type of Watchmen fan that
Doesn't get the joke.
Alan Moore hates.
Oh, yeah. He 100% is.
I think he's the one who's just like, "This is so cool."
I love Rorschach. He's my favorite character, even though that's not the point.
He just read Watchmen and he made his Watchmen movie, which is all well and fine, I'm sure. But then he was like, what if everything I did was just
Dark and
Watchmen?
gritty.
And the thing is, not everything can be a deconstruction.
Of the
Because then
superhero.
what is the point?
Then what's the construction?
Then it's not, there's no constructions anymore. And this does kind of tie back, because James Gunn does this well. Because in some ways, it is lighthearted and like kind of poking fun.
Excuse me.
Bless
Sorry.
you, Jim.
Oh, you.
There's all that talk of the demons that got in you.
I know. But trying to skip my nose.
He's also, this movie and Guardians and stuff are also like genuine and like actually are heartfelt and do embrace comic books in a big way.
And
Like,
make references, but are different enough.
He put in fucking Polka Dot Man. He's not like Zack Snyder was like, I barely even have Batman. My Batman's, he's not like comic Batman. If you're looking for Batman, my Batman does war crimes. Are you kidding me? If you think that in the real world Batman wouldn't do tax evasion, you're wrong.
You're fucking
If
dumb.
you think Superman wouldn't lie to the American people, that's a real
That's
quote,
the
by
best
way.
quote.
I'm paraphrasing a little, but that's a real quote he said.
My heroes don't lie to the American people.
My real heroes, they're not real. you're an absolute like this is literally a mentality that Zack Snyder appears to have is that like genuine
emotion,
not just emotion, but like having just I can't think of the word. The words are failing me, but like having just an actual genuine sort of earnest, heartfelt superhero is lame. Because it kind of is, but that's the point.
Yeah, it's not supposed like they're just for.
What's the point?
It's
If you're
kind of
just
for
like
it, not to be that guy, but this shit's not really for adults. It's for like
no, really.
kids. It's like the Star Wars thing.
If you have to take exactly, it's like if you have to take Superman and be like Superman was real, he wouldn't be very nice. Then what's the fucking point? Then he's not Superman, is he?
Yeah.
Then he's just a real prick. And like, yeah, there's lots of real guys who are pricks who exist, but that's not Superman. Because what's the point?
Superman's whole point is that he has. I'm getting uppity right now thinking about it. The whole point of Superman is that he has the power to destroy anything. He is the strongest being in the universe, like bar none, bar a couple maybe, like Darkseid. But even that, like he rivals the gods themselves. But he's just a guy who has parents, and he just helps people because he knows it's the right thing to do, and he wants to.
Yeah.
And like one of my big things with Zack Snyder is that his movies alienate both sides of comic book fans, both sides of moviegoers, because like there's an adage that people say is that DC movies make movies for DC fans, Marvel movies are made for everyone, and that's so true. Because what Zack Snyder does is that he spits in everybody's face, because he'll make Batman a murderer and Superman an aloof like basically just an aloof god who doesn't give a shit.
Not even just a murderer is like. Because all of the movie Batmans are murderers to an extent.
That's true.
He literally has come out and been like, yeah, people are like, ask me like, why is your Batman killing people? And he literally just been like, yeah, he just does. I just don't even think of like, yeah, he just does. What's the problem? Like, it's not even just like he kind of accidentally did a murder there.
No, he just does it on purpose.
Yeah, he just doesn't. His Batman just has no problem killing people.
He brands people who then are killed in prison because of what they do, of like the connotation of being branded.
He's got guns. He's took that panel in Batman v Superman. There's that shot from The Dark Knight Returns where Batman's got like a rifle, and like it's just weird. I don't know. He just picks and pulls these like shots and like images. Because he's a big image guy. He loves like slow motion and he loves like stylistic scenes.
But like you can't cobble together a bunch of good shots and make a movie. They have to have a good story.
A bunch of visually interesting shots.
Do not a movie make.
Does not a movie make.
I love that. Does not a thing make line.
So
anyway,
like,
but to go off of that, like he makes them like that. So if you vaguely know the characters, you're like, why is Superman like this? Like, why is Batman like this? Why are you doing this? But then also, he puts a lot of like weird, obscure Easter eggs. Like he wanted to give Superman a mullet and a black suit, which is just after Death of Superman.
I feel like he just saw that on a cover.
Yeah. And
just like, well, on the Death of Superman trade paperback, he's doing that. I saw him. He's got a black suit and a mullet, so let's just do that.
But I bet you money, he doesn't know why he's in that black suit. Well, he's in that black suit because he needs to heal. Yeah, which, as dumb and comic booky as it is, but Zack Snyder definitely thinks that black suit is just to be like, well, now he's edgy and whatever.
See, that's weird because, like, no, I agree. Well, I should say, because the thing about it is, like, James Gunn put in, like, Polka Dot Man, who is ridiculous and, like, the most comic book character ever. It's just absurd. But he also took it serious at the same time. Like, he did both. Whereas, like you said, Zack Snyder somehow manages to do neither.
Yeah, somehow, like, in his infinite wisdom, he does, like, it's infuriating.
He takes himself so seriously that it actually kind of loops around and it's just ridiculous.
And what gets me the most is that he's talking about, like, oh, I want to put Green Lantern in. It was Martian Manhunter the whole time. I seriously doubt it was fucking Martian Manhunter.
I totally agree.
He just fucking added that in later. Also, like, I don't get it. So there are 7 members of the original Justice League who fight Starro in that first issue. I'm glad we can tie it back in. And they are as follows: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, The Flash, and Green Lantern. Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, but still Green Lantern.
Uh-huh.
And John Stewart and Hal Jordan switch a lot because they're both real good.
Sure.
Guy Gardner's an asshole. Nobody likes him. Kyle Ragner's on that team for a while, but that's when Hal Jordan kills everybody in Zero. He's telling the listeners.
He's Parallax.
Yeah,
in the comics, he's Parallax. It's not a weird yellow cloud.
Well, it's not a cloud in the comics. It's a weird yellow bug monster.
No, I said that. I said he's not a Cloud.
Right.
In the movie,
like in the
he's a
movie's
Cloud.
a Cloud.
Yeah.
That's like 0 hours in that event when he rewrites time. It's real strange. They make him real powerful. And they kind of depower him. But then he was just going to be like, oh, let's put Martian Manhunter at the end where he gives his speech like, oh, now this planet's worth it.
So,
Like,
why? I mean, we're just going to be ranting about
Justice
Justice
League.
League. But like, yeah, that was its bizarre inclusion. When he's like, your parents will be proud. Don't say that to him. He doesn't know you. You didn't know his parents. What the fuck?
What the fuck are you talking about, Martian Manhunter?
Bizarre. It's
You
just-
read his mind? Like, why didn't you help fight? You would have been, like, it's infuriating because Martian Manhunter in the comics is unbelievably powerful. There are several times where Superman has come out and said, like, there's a very specific comic panel where Superman says that there are only a handful of people, like 5 people on the planet who could who he's like doesn't want to fight. And Martian Manhunter is like at the top of that list. Because not only is he just kind of like Superman, he also has telepathy and shapeshifting. Like, he's got more powers. They're not, because he has all these powers, they'll kind of even out, and he's like, not as strong as fast, but he can fly in space, he can shoot lasers,
Yeah, I don't know why he's in that movie, but not in the movie.
Also, here's another fucking thing. In the movie, he wanted to have Jon Stewart show up at the end instead of Martian Manhunter. But also, Steppenwolf says no Kryptonians, no lanterns, which implies that there's no one to stop him that has the ability to stop him on the planet. But if Jon Stewart is a Green Lantern from Earth, he 100% would have come back. Like, unless he's like in the other side of fucking space, they're like, how does Oa not have like?
Right,
It's
because
infuriating.
the Earth Sector Green Lanterns often get shit for spending too much time on Earth.
That's why there's so many of them.
But it's rare that, yeah, it doesn't make any sense that he just wouldn't return for something like that.
Yeah,
Unless there is currently not
enough
an Earth
Green-
Sector Green Lantern. But that's not how it works, because the ring just finds someone.
Yeah, they're all programmed. They're extra dimensional rings.
So,
and
like,
in the comics, like, they're literally like 7 of them now. Who
you're
just
right.
hang out.
Why didn't... Yeah, it's just weird shit like that where I think he just put shit in for the sake of putting it in, because, like, if Martian Manhunter was in that movie, why isn't he in the movie? Why wouldn't he help? Because it's not just a matter of, like, well, they saved Earth, so I guess it's worth saving. No. If they failed, it wasn't just Earth that was destroyed.
The
Darkseid
universe
would have acquired the
anti-life
anti-life equation.
and would have won.
So, again, it's like, he takes himself so seriously that it loops around to just being ridiculous again.
Oh yeah,
Like the Batman
Amazon
scene.
lamenting.
I do actually like that.
That is fun.
They play that track so many times in the movie, though. But, like, we're, like, in that Batman scene and the Nightmare scene at the end. He's just ridiculous.
He says, "I will
It's
fucking
kind
kill
of
you."
funny.
When I was watching that movie, I literally started laughing and could not stop. Like, it's unintentionally hilarious how stupid and like fan fictiony that scene is. To have Batman say, "I will fucking kill you." Are you kidding me, Zack Snyder? Grow up, dude.
Whereas, like, again, James Gunn is, like, the opposite. He takes, like, some of the most ridiculous characters and actually makes them genuine and hard. Like, in Marvel, obviously, in the Guardians movies, like, those are some of the most emotionally impactful of the Marvel movies. Maybe probably just I don't think any of them have, like, ever compared. Like, they
Guardians of the Galaxy
themes.
2's got real deep, like,
It's like themes and stuff.
yeah.
The raccoon has, like, the biggest arc. The fucking talking raccoon thing.
That's like a robot
yeah, like, come on.
with
That's
the
great.
tree. The tree has a big emotional scene.
Whereas fucking Zack Snyder in his 3 movies had like one half decent scene with fucking Superman.
The best guy. Like, I don't.
Like, to his credit, that scene where he's in the hallway, and it's barely a Superman scene though. It's just a Superman dad scene. But when he hears his dad, when he hears Kevin Costner's,
Pa Kent?
yeah, Pa Kent, whatever Pa Kent's first name is, and then
Padre Kent? Pa for short, of course.
What's his dad? What's his other dad?
Oh,
Russell Crowe is
he's
Zor-El.
No. Zor-El? Yeah, I think he's Zor-El.
Yeah, they're talking about, like, that scene was strange to me. It made me wonder if that's a case where he didn't just rip more dialogue, because neither of them acted that way properly in the other movies.
No, not at all.
That's one of the biggest failings is Pa Kent. He doesn't act like Pa Kent.
It's so strange, because in Man of Steel, he fucking... Oh my god, I'm thinking
Pa
about it now,
Kent's
it makes me
awful.
mad. Pa Kent, no, not even that. Fucking Zor-El
They're both bizarre.
Does the fucking join you in the sun speech from All-Star Superman, the quintessential Superman comic. Like, all you have to do is read All-Star Superman and just write him like that.
Yeah, that's the part in Justice League which I do like. It's like they're having their little speech. And he's like, yeah, like, you're the best. You'll be the best of them, Cal. Like, you have to lead them, though. Like, they're not
join
flawed,
you in the sun.
But that's okay.
They'll stumble and fall, but they will join you in the sun.
And that's great. It's good stuff, man.
But then he doesn't do that.
No.
He just gets sad when Lex Luthor bombs the fucking House of Congress. Like, what? It's infuriating. Like, I just don't even get it. Also, like...
So I apologize to any massive Justice League fans, but I think this is definitely the best DCU movie.
I gotta be honest. Not to be rude, and I really don't... Like, if you like the movie, like, who am I? Like, in all honesty, like, if you like it, honestly, more power to you. But if you are really gonna look me in the face or like type on your little computer screens that say this is a better movie than anything at Marvel, I gotta tell you, you're objectively wrong. Like, just straight up. Like, not to be that guy, but like, if you watch the Marvel movies without a tinge...
It's too fucking long, man.
4 hours, and no one changes. The best part about that movie is that nobody changes. Cyborg has so many scenes. He's the most boring character I've ever seen. I don't care about him. Why do I care about Cyborg?
No, I think it's a little harsh. They change.
He's so boring. Why
they
is
almost all change?
Maybe I was being too harsh. But
Barry,
I don't like
Barry and Cyborg in particular.
I hate both. Like, why is Barry Allen?
Fine.
Why did they make Barry Allen Wally West? They just made him Wally West.
Right. That's kind of what they did. Ezra Miller, Barry Allen is strange.
Because why is he like new to the team when the whole team is new? Why does he save that one moment and not stop that car from flipping?
That's actually a very good point. In the abandoned Justice League... what was it called? Was it called Justice League Immortal? I want to say maybe that was called... There was like a Justice League production that got into some stages in like the early 2000s. And there's scripts and stuff you can get a hold of. Armie Hammer was going to be Batman, I think. And I can't think of almost anyone else off the top of my head. But in that script, Flash was going to be the point of view character. He was going to be the entry character, right? Mm-hmm. He was going to be joining the team.
It's not going to be from his perspective.
And so, which is how you do point of view characters. But the point of that movie was that it was going to be an established Justice League, whereas you're right, this is not that. The whole team is new, so you don't need the new kid being like, whoa, what's going on? Because none of them really know what's going on.
Yeah, they're all, like, different. Also, in the scene where he saves that girl, he lets that car flip and maybe hit those people. Even though he's so fast, he could have put her on the ground and then run and caught that car. Why did he do that? Why do his shoes explode? I guess that's realistic. Iris. No, it is Iris, but why does he let that car... I don't care who she is. I hate these movies. I mean, I like these comics, but I don't like these movies. They're bad.
It's just too long. That's the thing about the Snyder Cut to me, is when they're like, we want his original vision. The Snyder Cut is not his original vision.
It's not, in any way.
Not that that's a deal breaker for me or a super bad thing. I'm just saying, like, it just purely cannot be. If only for the fact that it was, like, 3 years after the... 3 or 4 years after the fact. So, like, I mean, unless he has perfect recall and can remember the exact vision of the film he had in his head, for one thing. 2, that would also presuppose that, like, it was that the 4 years of speculation and like fan involvement and everything, and him just himself thinking about it, that he didn't change anything about it that he would have. And also, obviously, the big one is that it was never going to be 4 hours long, even if it got the theatrical release and he got to finish it at the time. It obviously was never going to make it to theaters as a 4 hour fucking long movie. It probably wouldn't have made it as a 3 hour long movie. Like, he would have cut like a good 30% of that.
They would have made him, because like, especially at that time, like, Endgame is the first one that's 3 hours, and that's because it was Endgame. Like, that's what boggles my mind. I remember we talked about it before it came out, and like, to really think about it, like, this movie is an hour longer than Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Avengers Endgame has a lot going on. In this movie, not really. Like, when, like, oh my god, the most boring scene to me is when Cyborg tells that story of the cube, and Ray Fisher's had his own problems with this production, and I kind of sucks he's kind of treated like shit, whatever. But he delivers those lines like a robot. Like, he's like...
He is a robot.
No, he's a cyborg. That's all... Did you not know? You don't know his name? Well, what am I meant to think? What is that meant to hang upside down and
All right.
and eat fruit
Study on.
and flap about?
Study.
Echolocation? Oh, I oughta. Why I oughta. But I just hate this movie. Like, I hate him as a director. Not as a person. I want to make that very clear. I think,
No,
it's
he's
very...
fine.
The reason he sets out Justice League, it's very unfortunate. And honestly, I don't want anything misconstrued. But I wish he just wouldn't make movies. Truly.
I guess so. We could probably drop it. We probably don't need to keep going. You could literally rant on this for
Oh, God. I could do it.
forever.
I could do a whole episode. Just me. Without Zach.
We made one point. We have text conversations from when the movie came out. We were just texting each other back and forth about how angry
Long
it made us.
paragraph. Maybe we'll just read those verbatim.
Yeah, we could do that.
If anyone wanted to listen to that.
But it probably shouldn't be the main purview of this episode. But what I will say, what does kind of tie in is that like the sort of Snyder Cut people are back in full force
Oh, Jesus.
for this movie.
They always are,
right?
dude. They never go away.
At least I think they are. I mean, feel free to correct me, rabid Snyder fans. But I think the people who are out there yelling now for the release the Ayer cut of the Suicide, or of rather not of the Suicide of 2016 Suicide Squad. I gotta imagine there's overlap, right?
Yeah.
Or it's just coincidental shared branding. But those people are going crazy now too. Where now every article about the Suicide Squad, every
Post on Instagram.
every post on Instagram, you see like all the tweets are just full of people bashing it. It got review bombed like negatively, which is very strange to me. One, if only because like, well, this movie's way better.
Yeah,
than
way
Suicide
better.
Squad. And as we were watching, I said this to you. No offense. Again, same thing with David Ayer. I don't have any problem with him. Fucking good for him, whatever. But I can't imagine a scenario where
His movies,
any version of that movie is better than this one.
this movie's just like head and shoulders better.
The best thing that could be said of that movie is that it almost again, because they have so many similar like beats and stuff, as if it just became almost the exact same thing. I guess that'd be pretty good. But
Yeah.
then what's the point?
Like, why even bother doing it at all?
And like, I don't get these people, man. I don't know. I think it's more just community for them than anything, which is like probably its own kind of
Can't bag
to
a
delve into.
fucking bag of tricks to
That people just like to be a part of something. Because I can't imagine there's that many people actually passionate about it. Because if you were passionate about the Suicide Squad, because you loved them and you love those characters and everything so much, you would just be happy with this. It's bizarre they're like, all right, now take that. I mean, I don't want to say objectively because nothing's objective in media criticism, but
Right.
a movie that's in a lot of ways and in a lot of people's opinion much worse, and be like, fix that and make it better instead of just essentially the remake that we have that's better.
Yeah, from the ground up. Because, like, you can't, like, the way that David Ayer movie is built, it's flawed. Like, you can say this James Gunn movie is flawed for the same reasons we've mentioned. Like, it's very similar to the one that came before. Whatever. Like, that movie, it has to be gutted. You'd have to just scrap it and just write this movie. Like, the fact that James Gunn just starts with a different idea and builds off that is just why this movie is, in our opinion, better.
Because, like, I don't know what they want. Again, I think
They don't want
really-
anything,
I think it's
Zach.
really just like,
what can you
for
give
the
a man who wants
sake of it.
nothing?
Because people are digging into this movie. They're just saying, like, I've seen so many people just say it's just a bad movie and that James Gunn's just a bad director and there's, like, no value to this one. And I'm just like, are we watching the same one? Because it was just a good movie. Like,
I enjoyed it. I was not bored at all.
at the very worst, it's entirely inoffensive, right? Like, why are we hating on James Gunn now? I don't get what we're looking for here.
I don't know. I mean, also, I think maybe what gives it better is that this movie is R-rated.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's a big thing.
David Ayer was PG-13.
I remember it
so
blew my mind at the time that the David Ayer one wasn't.
R.
They didn't go the step and make it R-rated.
Because, like, the Suicide Squad is just violent. And then you could see all those people die in horror, like...
Well, yeah, because
horrible
that's
ways.
probably why in the David Ayer one they're just fighting those fucking putties,
Yeah,
fucking Power Rangers, weird
goo
like,
monsters.
goo monsters.
That
'cause-
dissolve.
Yeah, because then you're not actually killing people or showing blood or whatever.
I mean, this one, like, fucking Pete Davidson's face gets blown off. Mongal gets burned horribly by helicopter fire. Like, Cat Boomerang gets
Yeah, I
killed.
Maybe it's just because that one is an extension of the Snyder sort of verse. Although, I don't see why this one doesn't just fit in as well though with everything.
Yeah, those-
I mean, again, a lot of people say it's like a reboot or like it's a soft reboot, I guess, or whatever. But It's really not.
Yeah, because
There's nothing in this one that contradicts the previous one that I can think of.
yeah, because they're just more color.
Other than that, like, obviously some of the characters don't return, but I don't think that's like a plot hole or anything.
No, not at
The
all.
lineup's different, other than the couple that are the same. But that's fine. I don't know. It works. It's not like any of the dead guys come back.
Except for Weasel.
I mean, like, it's not like Slipknot's in this one, something like, hey, I'm here. So I don't. Yeah, it just fits. I don't know why people feel the need to drag this one down to try to get their other one going. And again, I don't know what people see in that one to think it would be so much better. Because here's the thing, and people have said this before about the Ayer cut debacle thing, is that the whole point of the Snyder cut is that there was very valid, like, verifiable reasons that we all knew at the time and everything why he didn't get to make
The movie that
he wanted. It was just a known quantity. It's not like the scenario that happens sometimes with, like, say, a Rogue One is probably a good example of, like, a soft one where it's, like, after the fact it kind of came out and there's rumors and stuff that, like, maybe the studio stepped in and changed a lot of stuff because the final product of the original director's vision was not maybe there.
Right.
It's not that. It's more like I guess like a solo scenario where they just literally came in and scrapped it. Like, and that's what happened with Justice League, right? Is that Joss Whedon rewrote and reshot massive portions of his movie.
Add more jokes to it and
So,
stuff.
like, that's fair to want to get his real version because the one we got definitely wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the idea with Behind the Ayer cut is that there was studio interference, and he's come out and said so much when earlier this year that was all going down, and they were freaking out over the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
And this release, the Ayer cut thing first started
It's picking back
trending.
up again.
Is he said that, or maybe it was even from recently. I don't know. I think what it is, he literally has I don't know. The point is, he has said like that his movie was better and that this studio interfered in some ways, or maybe even just in editing. But I think it really was just in editing. I don't think there was reshots that were done without him or anything. It's just not the same scenario. The best of that could be done to that movie is scenes. I guess a couple scenes could be moved around, kind of deal, and some things could be slotted back in. But this idea that the David Ayer cut is going to be some like massive revision just isn't there.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't
true.
see any scenario where he would need to be shooting new scenes like they did for
Justice League.
It's a bizarre concept, and again, that's why I kind of think like people are just doing it for the fuck of it. Also, with anything like this, you gotta always believe that a not insignificant portion of the people involved are just doing it for the hoot.
Soon, just to get.
They're just
do
trolling.
something.
For all we know, this is one of those scenarios where like it actually just started as a big troll, but then it gained enough traction that you start picking up people who don't realize it's a troll.
Yeah, you don't get right into the joke.
I just don't get it.
I know people
The thing
really
is-
want the fucking Snyderverse to come back, like his vision, which is so.
That's one that
dumb.
I know you again. You hate. I have a lot of problems with Justice League. I don't hate it as much as you. And again, I do have a problem with some of the ways that he approaches the characters for certain. But I told you at the time, I do think that'd be super cool, and I would absolutely watch. Well, I think this is the hold up that I had though. Even at the time, I was like, I'd watch another Justice League movie where they did the nightmare thing, but the thing that's so bizarre about the nightmare sequences in any of the movies and like the whole concept of them is that what we're left with at the end of Justice League isn't the nightmare scenario.
No.
It would take like another movie or another half movie at least or something to get to the nightmare. It's bizarre. It's almost like there needs to be another Justice League movie where they lose, and then there's another movie
Where
that's the nightmare movie.
Oh yeah. I just hate it, and it's just so dumb.
But I think it'd
why.
be funny.
One of
I
the-
want to see it just because it's funny.
I don't want to see it
Because
because
Deathstroke's got like a machine gun, and Mira's like, I'm angry. I abused my husband. And
Oh wait, whoa,
And,
whoa!
and
This isn't the Yak Attack with political intrigue.
is that political?
Zach, why? Don't call me out, man. Just go with it.
And then
damn
Jared
it.
Leto's there
With a card.
and he lives in a society. he's got a gun of his own. I don't know. Batman's got a gun and he's gonna fucking kill him. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Are you telling me you wouldn't watch that?
I wouldn't. I'd never watch.
You are lying through your teeth. You telling me right now that if they announce tomorrow, we've uploaded it. It's called Justice League.
We live in a society.
Justice is society.
We live in a justice.
The real justice was the society
we made along the way.
I don't know. Justice League. It'd probably just be called Justice League: The Nightmare Cut. Justice League Nightmare. I don't know, something to that effect. And it was just a whole movie that was just the nightmare scenario, and we got to see a bunch of nightmare. Oh, I forgot Nightmare.
Flash.
Oh, Nightmare Flash and Cyborg are there. Jack, come on. You wouldn't watch the Nightmare movie. Nightmare Cyborg had a minigun.
Even though why?
Where was he keeping the ammo?
Why
does he need that?
He had a box.
Oh, he did have. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's an alien. He has alien technology.
Yeah, he's got space
New
lasers.
Gods technology.
Why does he need the gun?
That's like the retcon they've made and made
Also,
Cyborg
why
much
is
more
the Flash
important.
wearing goggles? Because like,
He wears a helmet.
if he needed that helmet goggle thing, hasn't he needed that all along?
Yeah.
What has changed about his costume?
He uses the Speed Force. That's why he doesn't
He
get
already
hurt.
goes fast.
Yeah. There shouldn't be
It's
abrasion
great.
marks
It's
in his
hilarious.
costume.
I love all the Mad Max characters for no reason. I love Angry Superman.
It doesn't make any sense.
Love the
Grant
parademons.
Morrison has a great quote about that. And God bless him. He wrote All-Star Superman, which is my favorite Superman comic.
Love the Parademons.
And they're fine. I kind of like them. Where he says, it doesn't make any sense for Superman to go crazy if Lois Lane is killed because people lose their loved ones all the time and they don't go on murder sprees. And Superman, again, is meant to be the best guy.
That's the thing.
And he loses his father. That's what gets me the most. Is that literally a big part of Superman is that he loses his father to a heart attack, not to a tornado.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, that's been said to death.
Yeah.
But yeah. I agree. I think I said the same thing. It's like, if that's the Superman we're dealing with, he's just not a very good guy.
He's just a shitty person.
He's, like, and not that he has to be actually perfect. He is allowed to be flawed, of course, because then otherwise you get the whole, like, ooh, Superman's boring because he's just perfect. But he's not that flawed. Jesus. Like,
he's not like...
the fact that he just turns evil
and goes to the dark side.
Bizarre. I don't...
Also in Batman Superman, when they are charging him with crimes in Africa,
so I don't
they
get
find bullets and they're like, Superman did this. There are bullets everywhere.
Because Barry's comes to in his nightmare and he's like, Batman, you have to save Lois Lane. And then at the end of that movie, they do save Lois Lane. But I guess that wasn't the real saving Lois Lane. They save Lois Lane in Justice League, I guess. She doesn't get hurt there, but I guess that doesn't count either, because somehow the nightmare still happens.
I don't even get it.
Why does he turn evil?
Because Lois Lane dies.
Where are we going with this? Why did this come up?
Oh shit, I don't know.
You got me back onto this.
Oh. Well,
I don't know.
Good thing this gets edited.
I'll say I don't get why. The David Ayer cut thing doesn't do anything for me.
I think that's why we got onto it.
I think that's kind of it. As much as I would... Yeah, I think that's all I was getting at. Is that I would watch more of this... Oh, because you just said restore the Snyderverse thing. That is one I can get behind. Because I would watch them for their movies. I don't give a shit. It's not my money. Put on HBO Max again. I already pay for that. Well, I don't pay for it. I get it with my parents' cable.
Still paying them for it.
I'm not.
No, I would watch. I would watch it because I'd be like, well, if I don't watch, people are gonna make opinions.
Hilarious.
Whereas opinions
with
should get this show.
The Ayer cut thing, I just don't get it. I don't know what could be gained there. Again, I do understand that maybe the final product was not his real artistic vision or whatever because of studio interference and whatnot. The thing is, it's just not in any way a comparable scenario to what happened with Justice League. I don't see how it could be that much different. Let me put it this way. There's no 4-hour cut of Suicide Squad sitting around that we just haven't seen.
Not at all.
I mean, there is an extended version on the fucking Blu-ray that I'm sure has, like, most, if not all, of the deleted scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see how much... And that adds, like, 13 minutes or something, which is a good amount.
It's about how it normally happens.
I don't see how much more they could add.
Yeah. And they cut it for a reason.
Honestly. I mean, like, I guess we can't trust Warner Brothers' judgment wholeheartedly, but also, like, no offense to David A., I'm sure he's fine.
Not good at making these movies.
Like, what's his best movie? I don't know why we think that he's some auteur.
Bright. I've never even heard of his movies.
People don't like Bright.
I don't even know what the movie's about.
People hate that movie. I mean, he's fine. Good on him. Again, no ill will to
He's
him.
out there making movies.
But I doubt that he ever had some version that was transcendent.
Yeah, that was like. Yeah, he always says like, "Oh, I had real character arcs and like serious story," and they butchered it.
Unless there's
An entirely different
an hour
movie.
on the cutting room floor, how could any of them have characters? None of them have character. Again, the two that barely have any character but don't have character. It's dumb. See, I think I want to talk about.
All right, back attack on it.
I think this came up. I mean, no, this is really on the same vein. That's why I didn't attack it. Is I think probably just because he's doing press for this, James Gunn called out Scorsese for being a dick.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said that his whole thing about superhero movies being
Theme park rides.
he said that's cynical, and that's really my thought on it.
I agree.
I think we've talked about this before on the show.
I think literally the first episode.
Yeah, but just to reiterate, I can freely admit that they're not like
High cinema.
yeah, and as evidenced by our discussion on the Green Knight last week, maybe that type of cinema just isn't for us. Period. It's clearly not what we're looking for, and I think that's fine for everyone involved. But to act as if there's just nothing to them,
They're just like a roller coaster. Like that's just
it's doing them disservice.
You're just being rude
to yourself, to the movie,
to everything.
everything. Yeah, you get as much of them. You get as much out of them as you want. So if you're gonna come into them, if you're gonna come into a movie just being like, yeah, this is gonna be a dumb nothing movie.
That's where
That's probably what you're gonna get out of it. Like, but yeah, it's wholly cynical to just say none of these are worth watching. They're all just
trash.
They're all just like white noise. No, like there is stuff to them. There's heart, even if it's not the core of it. Even if the core of these movies is to be obviously visually interesting and like action scenes
And comic booky and stuff.
they've still got some morals,
Yeah,
and heart and stuff.
especially fucking even the best of them are like real good and funny and they have good stories. Like
So I just thought that was good.
some of these.
Makes sense to you to say that.
I saw something that what was it that apparently somebody told Scorsese that the Skrulls in Captain Marvel were supposed to be representations of Italian Americans, and he was like, "Oh, that makes sense. I guess I like these movies now." And I was like, "What? What do you?"
Excuse me.
You heard me.
Someone told Scorsese that. I'm sorry. I can't wrap my head around what you're saying.
I hardly can either. I don't even really get it myself.
We're recording a little later at night again, listeners, but
On a work night too, no less.
Let me see if I got this right, Jack.
Okay, lay it on me.
In this scenario, and by this scenario I mean the real world,
In the clown world we live in.
has Martin Scorsese seen Captain Marvel? Do you think?
Thing?
So he saw it and didn't like it,
Yes.
and then someone told him
The Skrulls were
that
Italians.
the Skrulls were Italians and he liked it more.
Yes.
He didn't find that offensive. Oh, because they're like refugees.
Yes.
Oh,
And because
Okay.
because all Italians
thought
can
we-
shapeshift.
well, as we know, I thought we were going with that. Is that the actual root, the origin story of his hatred of these movies is not that he's ever seen or cared about them. It's that
They don't get the Skrulls right.
it's that someone told him that they were racist against Italians, and he was like, "Oh,
Oh, Maron. All my movies have
Mamma
Italians in them.
mia."
All I do are Italian movies.
But now you're saying that he likes them more because of Italians.
Yes.
No offense, Martin Scorsese, but when I think of like oppressed refugee groups throughout history, my first thought is not Italian Americans.
That's not my
Sorry.
big on the list. There are other groups.
Good on you guys.
You had it rough.
Love you.
Not really, though.
I don't know that.
You know what? I'll say in the podcast, they have too much pride.
Oh, Jack. Careful now.
Oh, what are the mob listening?
Get you with your gabagool.
Gabagool. That's what they call fucking Capicola.
I know.
It's called Gabagool. What a stupid language they have.
Isn't
Oh.
Capicola already their language, though? Surely that's not English.
It isn't. That's what I'm saying. They have another dumber word for Capicola.
That's the Italian-American word for the Italian word. Capicola is gabagool.
Gabagool.
At least according to the HBO series The Sopranos.
And that's what I base all my stereotypes off. It's the HBO show that corresponds to them.
But yeah, I think the thing about a lot of that is that the other thing is that I think casual people, not to be a dick about it or whatever, like what you like, you don't have to. But I think to some people, and particularly probably older folks, Marvel movies just means superhero movies.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm sure if you asked Martin Scorsese if you could get him to care, to even give you the time to, he probably doesn't really know the difference between a Captain Marvel and a Suicide Squad and a Man of Steel.
Yeah, they're all
and a fucking
they're all
Thor
they're all
Ragnarok.
Marvel.
Yeah,
It's like one of those things where like everything is like
it's almost just a genre at this point.
the superhero genre.
We were talking about earlier a review of The Green Knight where someone was like, which we found a bit pretentious, where someone was like, "Oh yeah, if your main source of entertainment is the Marvel movies, then probably this is too high for you or whatever the fuck," which is pretentious. But again, in that kind of scenario, I'm like, do they just mean superhero movies? Like, because even at the pace Marvel movies go, there's not a ton of people out there who subsist
Only on Marvel.
only off of them for
I
entertainment.
mean, we're getting to the point where you could
Close. But I think
After this next
what you
year-
could definitely do is just subsist on comic book stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's what we do.
Well, essentially. But like week to week, like yeah, between Marvel and DC and now Image and whoever the fuck makes The Boys.
I think Image is the boys.
I don't think it is.
Oh, no.
Maybe it is.
Who knows?
It's almost irrelevant. The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
There's like
Spawn.
There's what is there a lot of Spawn content going on?
I mean, that sounds pretty popular.
Yeah, but is there a TV show? Movie?
There's a Spawn movie.
Well, no. All right. Yes. If you're the
Nah,
if
get
you're-
fucked,
If
idiot.
you're the one guy out there who subsists entirely off of the
Spawn
2005 Spawn movie, you just
Probably.
played that
It's
on
still a
loop.
movie, though. Get
Shut
fucked,
up.
idiot.
I was saying new stuff. I'm saying that there's probably there probably like is not a week in the next like 2 years where some
Something-
superhero bullshit doesn't come out.
And we're going to eat it up.
Uh-huh.
Second, I'm going to eat that
So
shit
I feel like
up.
I think some people when they say Marvel movies, they literally just mean superhero stuff, which good on them.
I don't know. I think Invincible's got a lot of merit to it. I think
Pretty good.
I think they're all good.
I
I like it
Then I
all.
want to say new stuff. Again, but Suicide Squad. In case anyone's wondering, I mean, what are we?
We're an hour and 17 minutes and 42
Yeah, I don't
seconds.
think we're going to talk about much other. I mean, we don't really have any other topics.
Yeah.
We're recording this a little early than we would
A
like.
day early because I'm going on vacation next week, so we're
So
kind of
the only other thing we readily would have talked about was the Bad Batch, which I think this worked out actually pretty nice because then we can watch the 2-part finale. Because they did say it was a 2-part finale.
Oh,
Well,
really?
Yeah, we can watch that. We can just talk about that as one big chunk. So
That'll be good. And then we can talk about What If as well. So we'll have a lot to talk about next
so
week.
but the other Suicide Squad like subtopic was that the DC president said that James Gunn is going to make more stuff for them in the future.
Of course, because this movie's
Why wouldn't he? Despite the review bombing, I reckon it's going to do well.
very well.
It's probably going to be pretty popular.
Yeah.
If word of mouth's unless we're the crazy ones and those fellas are right, I think most people are going to like it.
Yeah, I
Find it
agree.
good. And so, as long as it's got good word of mouth and stuff, it'll be good. I don't know. Although I thought the same thing about Black Widow, and we saw that one. So
Yeah, we all were like, "This is a pretty good movie," and everyone were like, "This sucks," and we're like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
where's my favorite character,
Taskmaster, the greatest villain ever, who everyone
for
beats.
all we know, they're gonna be like, "Where's Ratcatcher? Who's this Ratcatcher 2? My Ratcatcher's a creepy man."
Who sleeps with rats in the street and does heroin.
But so
I can't
what do
believe
you
they
think of
changed Polka Dot Man.
that? Yeah, right?
What do you think of what?
James Gunn doing more stuff.
All for it.
Do you reckon he's gonna do more Suicide Squad stuff or different project? I mean, I don't think any sequels have been announced for the Suicide Squad.
I think at the moment,
Um,
just based on, I think it's most likely he might talk about doing Suicide. I know I saw something that he wants to do a Harley and Groot crossover.
oh yeah,
I don't know why
That's right.
that's what he wants to do, because Groot doesn't talk. So that means Margot Robbie, Academy Award-winning actress, great actress. There's a lot of great movies. I'm just gonna talk to nothing for however long the movie is, or however long.
no. She'd talk to Vin Diesel, Jack.
No, she would. She talked to a guy who's in like a big morph suit. Then they.
Yeah, but they put Vin Diesel's voice in. Don't be silly about it. He would be saying, "I am Groot."
Oh, good.
But no, I agree. But I found that bizarre as well. Also, I kind of forgot that you said that today because you said that like weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
I kind of forgot because that is kind of weird again, given how Harley Quinn does in this movie. I mean, she does fine. I feel like I keep coming back to that.
Yeah.
She's probably my favorite character, again, in the DC. I think I already said that, but still. It's weird that that's the one he apparently latched onto when he seemed to connect much more with
Ratcatcher and
Ratcatcher, too.
I mean, they're making that Peacemaker show.
They are making that Peacemaker show. I don't know how much he's involved with that or not, though.
Yeah, it's weird they picked him.
I totally agree. I thought that when it came out, or when it was announced, obviously prior to this, because it's been a known factor, and then now that this movie's come out, it hasn't made it almost any clearer.
No.
Other than he's just again kind of the worst. He's just actually kind of a bad guy. Like, because the rest of them are like, they're bad, but they're good guys. They're not so bad. He's just he killed fucking Rick Flag.
They just straight up murdered him.
That's pretty rough. But I guess I did like the post-credit scene of this movie, which clearly is setting up that.
And like they don't really want to work with him.
Which is like, fucking, we gotta use this dickhead. Save the world.
I hate this guy.
So that's kind of fun.
It's like a punishment for them.
Yeah, so that's I guess that's kind of, I don't know. So, I don't think he'd do another Suicide Squad movie necessarily.
Yeah.
Because if you did a third Suicide Squad movie, it's gonna just be the same thing.
Yeah, and you're missing a lot.
You just get a bunch of new characters and
kill
them all. Also, at the end of this one, the main ones get away.
Oh yeah.
Like, they seem to effectively
leave the
negotiate
squad
for their entire sentences being lifted, I think.
Yeah. Because if any of them die, all that stuff about Starro gets leaked to the press. Honestly, you might as well just leak it.
Yeah.
I think I would just probably just leak it.
That's what I thought they'd do, because they're bad guys.
They're like, okay, we're good.
Although if they do that, they really do lose all their leverage, I suppose.
Yeah,
And then she just would arrest them. I mean,
bombs are still in their necks.
that's true as well. The bombs are probably still in their necks.
Yeah.
What else on that? I can't. I really am not nearly as versed in
DC lore?
DC as I am with Marvel. What's a weird DC kind of property he could tackle?
So
I mean, he also doesn't have to be weird. Like, I feel like I don't want to pigeonhole him just because he did Guardians, which turned out to be kind of weird, and obviously this, which
I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's any, like...
We talked about earlier, he could do, like... I feel like he could do a Constantine if he wanted.
I think like a Dark Justice League would be like a weird thing. Like
yeah, that was floating
like
around.
Etrigan
I don't know where that's
Zatanna.
at now. They were doing
I think they're still doing a Zatanna show.
Oh, that's the one that J.J. Abrams is working on, I think. Or his production company. Like,
yeah.
Is doing that and like a number of DC properties or something.
They're doing a Batgirl show, I know.
Like, not the one that's airing?
Not Batwoman, Batgirl.
Oh. That his same production Bad Robot is?
I think so, yes. That's what I've heard.
So yeah, they're doing all... I think they are... I think you're right. They still are doing Dark Justice League. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Justice League Dark.
Yeah, Justice League Dark. They might have Dead Man and stuff. I think he could probably pull it off.
What is weird stuff? He could do Sandman. If he wanted.
The Neil Gaiman comic.
I bet he could do that. I bet he could do...
I have not finished that comic. I got to the 5th collection. And
Swamp Thing? Probably, if you wanted.
Oh, yeah, he could. Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is weird. He becomes like a god. It's real strange. I gotta read it.
Probably do Swamp Thing. I guess. But now we're just... I don't know if that's... But that's not really weird like he's weird, is it?
No. It's like
weird, like funny weird. I don't know what you do.
Because Swamp Thing is like not really like funny.
No, yeah, it's not funny weird. It's just weird. That's not really his vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he could even do, like, he's about family and bullshit. He could even do, like, a Teen Titans thing.
I thought I was thinking he'd do that as well.
But, like, a good one. Not that bullshit show that's on. I hate it.
I've never seen an episode.
It's really bad. It's not worth it. That's one of the ones that had, like, fully formed my opinion on comic book media. Is that, like, you need to be different, but not too different.
Not so different that it's unrecognizable.
Because that's the type of show that's just like, it's clearly they don't have a ton of budget, they don't have a ton of anything behind it, and she's like, why would I watch this show? There's nothing happening that's even vaguely reminiscent of a Teen Titans. There's no big T-shaped tower. What's the point?
What the fuck are we even doing?
It's edgy and like gritty for the sake of it.
He says fuck Batman.
He says fuck Batman. Batman's in it at one point, but doesn't... I hate him. We're not talking about it.
Alright. So we gotta take anything else before we finish? We're about an hour and a half now. Probably wrap it up.
Yeah, I don't know. You got the deeper bench when it comes to DC. Do you think of anything else James Gunn would work on?
Not really.
Because again, that's how they phrased it. Just to reiterate, it's just the president said that they're going to have him work on stuff in the future.
Yeah, so I don't
He says, I got it right here. Warner Bros. President Walter Hamada says that the Suicide Squad director James Gunn will, quote, be back, and that they, quote, have more stuff planned.
Yeah. I'd have to
we know the Peacemaker thing, but I got to imagine if he's involved in that at all, he's...
Oh, you know,
some kind of
you know what they
producer.
could have him do? They could have him do Earth 3, the Crime Syndicate,
Yeah.
with Ultraman and
That could be
Superwoman and Owlman. That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe as fun as he make it. I guess we should say, this is a good point, the Guardians of the Galaxy were not a funny
crew.
comic book. Like, it's weird and out there, but, like, Star-Lord, for example, is very, very different
Than,
in the comics.
Than Chris Pratt's interpretation.
Yeah, he is just, like, a serious, actual, like, lord. Like, he's called that because he's actually, like,
A prince.
yeah.
He's not his son. His father's an ego. His father's like a king. He like
and
grapples
he's
with
like, the Guardians are formed after the Annihilation War, and like it's a big thing. And he's like an actual like upstanding guy who like is a fucking war veteran. Drax,
is green.
when they formed Guardians, Drax has already killed Thanos at least once, or maybe Thanos is his daughter. It's a whole thing because
At one point, Eddie Brock joins the Guardians with his Venom symbiote. When he's
He
the
does.
Venom symbiote. Well, actually, no, he still has a Venom
everyone is
symbiote.
the original crew, which obviously heavily inspires the movie interpretation. That's got Rocket and Star-Lord and Drax and Gamora
Also, Groot also talks normally.
and Groot. Yes.
That kind of
The normal and Mantis is in the crew originally. So is like Adam Warlock and
Yes, people really.
what's
and
his face? Fuck. It's
who
not
knows?
important.
In the comics, Gamora pals around with Adam Warlock a lot more.
Well, a lot more in that at all because Adam Warlock isn't in the movie.
That's true. People always think that Zac Efron wants to be Adam Warlock, and he was like, "I'm not Adam Warlock, guys. Stop saying that."
Why? Why?
Because they think he's in that pod at the end of Guardians 2. They think Adam Warlock's in the pod because he's got gold skin, and all those people with gold skin make those like perfect genetic copies.
No, but why? Why Zac Efron?
I
knew about the Adam Warlock thing.
But why male models? I really couldn't tell you. I hope the Better Ray Bill shows up, but that's getting off topic. Also, because we're talking about Marvel, hold on, before we're talking about Young Avengers, Secret Invasion. We said it once, we said in the episode, we did it.
Just so no one can take it from us.
No one can take that thing everybody knows about. Are we looking up right now?
I was trying to figure out that the last member of the
Guardians team?
2008 Guardians, because otherwise it's gonna bother me.
Oh, we talk about an episode.
She's got a big sword.
Oh, Sword Lady. Sworder.
Oh! No, fuck off.
Okay.
Fiavel. That's not a name. Oh, Quasar. That's who she's called.
Oh, good. What a better name.
Quasar.
Quasar.
You know Quasar. She's got the quantum bands. I said that. You saw me. You guys didn't see this because it's the audio medium, but I held up my arms.
I don't know who Quasar is.
But you saw that, right?
No,
I
I
did
didn't.
do this.
I had my eyes closed the whole time.
I did this like she's got band because she had quantum band. I knew she did. So all that was to say that an entirely unnecessary tangent was just to say that in the comics the Guardians are not like a comedy team. Like there's quipping, but there's quipping in every Marvel thing.
Yeah, that's
ever.
just how Marvel goes.
In every comic book, I should tell you. But we associate them as being that now because of how he did them. So like it doesn't have to be a straight up. Also like the same could go for the Suicide Squad. It's not always funny. Like sometimes it is just kind of like dark, like fucking send you in, you're all gonna die kind of thing.
Yeah, and we don't care about you. If you're
So-
caught, we'll kill you.
Those examples we gave where it's like, oh, they're not super funny though. But he could just do whatever he wants with them because that's what James Gunn does.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was cool. The same people who seem to be like really mad about this movie for whatever reason are like, they shouldn't do that. I don't like him. But I think
good.
that'd be good because it would be
Bad.
Another good movie. If he did that, it would be probably another one of their better movies.
I think so. Give him more credibility because DC sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just wait till DC's bought by Marvel and Kevin Feige has control over both Marvel and DC.
I mean, they're making
Moves.
Aquaman 2, which I don't like Aquaman very much. I'm just gonna say it.
I think Jason Momoa. I thought the movie was better than I expected, and I enjoy it because it's kind of like fun.
Sometimes I think I'm crazy because it's just a bad movie. Why did so many people like it? How did it make $1 billion? It's the only one to break $1 billion.
I don't know how many billion, Because he's so charismatic. Jason Momoa.
Maybe.
Well,
But they're doing that one. They've thrown Zack Snyder to the curb.
good.
Poor guy that he is. Again.
No,
I got
fuck
no
him.
will to him. No.
I hate him.
Want to see the nightmare.
I don't.
We live in a society, Jack.
All right, don't clip.
And so does
all right,
Joker.
Easy. You're gonna clip out the fucking audio.
Oh, am I?
Yes, I can look at. I'm looking at the audio.
So I'm a little passionate about society, Jack.
Yeah, you would be. You fucking sheep.
Oh, goodness.
If I
Because I want to see Joker talking about society.
I don't
And-
want
and-
that
but yeah.
because people are gonna have dumb opinions.
He had all those police badges on his vest. That was cool. Wasn't that cool and interesting and worth doing? Huh? And Mira, she calls him a bastard or whatever. Who's a bastard?
I don't know.
Superman? She wants to kill Superman. Mira does.
She couldn't. No one could.
No.
She kills Arthur.
Maybe she had help. Maybe if they all ganged up on him.
Mm-mm. You know,
No, because they did that in Justice League and it didn't work.
yeah. Remember that time? That's my favorite scene in the movie when he kicks the shit out of all of them. He it's just so they doesn't need any of them. It's just Superman. All right. Well, I guess.
All I'm saying is I don't see. Although that Flash movie should be cool. Actually, I am excited for that.
I don't care about that movie at all.
Dude, it's got come on, because it's got
I know it's got Michael Keaton. I know he
It's got
wants.
Michael
I know he
Keaton
wants
and
to
Ben
get
Affleck.
nuts. Let's get
no,
nuts.
but and Ben Affleck.
I know. I'm aware who's in it.
Like Ben Affleck's the second best part of the DCU. Also, well, for how flawed his writing is sometimes, Henry Cavill is good as Superman.
No, I really agree.
He's really good in that role.
It's a shame though.
That movie's gonna be cool. All I'm saying is like I don't have a ton of faith for the DCU going forward, and they don't either. Warner Brothers has like abandoned ship. They're just like we're starting over.
Also,
We're
scrap
not
the
doing
new
Connect-
god. Scrap
we're-
the trench.
Scrap the new gods. Scrap the trench. Are we still doing a Shazam sequel? Who knows?
We're doing Black Adam though.
That's doing Black Adam
that
for some goddamn
that
reason.
wrapped filming recently.
Insanity. How is that what they land on? They're like
Because the Rock,
They're like
the Rock
reverse-
walked in and went, "I will be Black Adam," and they went, "I don't know, Mr. Johnson," and then he just slammed his fist on the table and shattered it with his immense strength, and they were like, "Oh."
they're like reverse 2008 Marvel. Because like early 2000s Marvel, they had lost all their film rights because they were destitute. And so they're like, fuck, what do we make? I guess we'll have to use Iron Man, a C character, essentially.
Yeah.
And then they did.
And they made him the biggest character.
And then they did Cap and everyone, of course, as we all know. And now they've worked to the point where they've bought them all back. They have them all.
They've got all
Like the stones in the gauntlet.
They've got the X-Men back. They've got the Fantastic Four. They've got Spider-Man.
They've got them all. The Daredevil's return to him. Punisher. Like, there's not a film right that they not yet own.
They wield it.
Yeah, Hulk for some reason.
Universal still got Hulk for some reason.
But the point is, it's like DC's the reverse of that. It's like they're like, should we start with like a Superman and Batman movies and stuff? Should we get solo movies for all our making? Should we do a
No.
Green Lantern? And they're just like, I don't know. Let's do like one Superman movie and then like the Batman movie that's actually like a Batman Superman movie that's like a sequel to Man of Steel, but it's got Batman. Actually, it's kind of like a proto Justice League movie as well.
And also have Wonder Woman show up for some fucking reason.
And then
Do Wonder Woman.
let's do the Suicide Squad, which is not a popular DC property until this movie. Like it's known now. It was
Beforehand?
not popular before that movie. It's a very strange choice for their third movie.
To be the Suicide Squad.
And they're still not established enough clearly in the universe to be doing fucking Black Adam and the Trench movies. The Trench was probably a good choice.
Yeah.
I don't. What are they doing? They're floundering. So my point is, they could not go any wronger by getting James Gunn to do another movie,
Yeah. It'd only
Regardless
be
of
better.
what it
It'd
is.
only give them more street cred.
regardless of what he do. He just seems good. I don't know. I'm not just gonna say he's infallible,
But he's better than
I
what they
can't
got.
imagine- especially for something like this. I think when it comes to just making pretty good superhero popcorny kind of movies,
He's got it.
I think he is mostly infallible at that. Actually, I'll just say it.
I have to agree.
So
I think with that, we'll probably wrap up the episode for today. For only one movie to talk about, we crammed an hour and a half into it, which is about as much we do when we cram like 3 things into an episode. Just a quick side note: we've started to read Wheel of Time for anyone who's read that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't know when we're going to talk about it.
I reckon,
Probably November
yeah,
as we get
honestly,
closer.
there's a lot.
Probably
of
because there's
stuff-
so much stuff
yeah, there's
smushed
no-
in. We don't want to lose it. Like I feel like if we do the book and then the show comes out, we'll have like our thoughts would be kind of
Yeah.
fresher. So it's probably when we'll do it.
Probably once, yeah.
Probably
Once there's like more promotional material and probably trailers and stuff, and we've read like 2 or 3 of the books, I think it would make sense to like the episode or two before that the show's going to premiere.
We'll do it
We'll
because I
say
think
stuff about it.
Well, actually, it depends. It might. I don't know where the Eternals will fall in when the show, because like the Eternals and Hawkeye fall in November, and I hope the Wheel of Time falls between the two, so we can do like an episode about the book, and then we do the Eternals, and then we do Wheel of Time starting. But again, we don't know anything, but we'll figure it out.
We got What If starting. Bad Batch is ending though, so we're gonna have some free time.
Maybe we'll talk about the Dark Tower. Zach finishes reading it.
Yeah, it's not good. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. A big one we could do because Star Wars Vision comes out in September. I do want to watch, if nothing else, the
Oh yes,
Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars
Of course.
Clone Wars show, which is like the closest thing to a Star Wars anime that we have so far. So I think it'd be appropriate to do, and I think it's just good and interesting. So
From what I've seen, I agree. Okay, so I guess we'll call it there. As always, you can email us and find us at Twitter at AcatechJazz. It's AcatechJaz at gmail.com for our email, and then the Twitter is just the AcatechJazz. As always, our episodes are on Spotify, Podbean, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Google Play, not Google Play, that's the store, Google Podcasts, and Amazon/Audible. And we're trying to get Pandora, and we're trying to get Apple Podcasts. It's driving me up a wall. I don't know what to do. I'm about to go insane. I'll cry next episode. But yeah, as always, our logo was done by our friend of the show, Trevor Gonzalez. You find him as always at inkocean.jpg, at Instagram, and probably at Redbubble. Buy his merch or don't. Look at his pictures, like his posts, give him support. No, he needs it. Artists need money. They pick bad choices. Not good on. We like him. He's a good friend of ours.
if there were no artist, we'd have no logo. So he's good for at least one thing. Maybe art is valid.
Probably
Maybe.
not.
I mean, that's not.
Let's not get crazy. Good thing nobody listens, or else we'd get in trouble. But yeah, email us if you like the show. Tell your friends. Tweet at us. How wrong we are and how problematic two white men are. Do what you want.
Quite.
Put us on TikTok and give us a lot of traffic.
That'd be fine.
That'd be fun.
Put our bad takes. If you, a random listener who I'm assuming is part of the Ayer Cut, Snyder Cut people, those absolutely delightful.
Promote our show.
Yeah. If you have stumbled upon this and find our opinions incredulous and unbelievable, then you should definitely share it with all your multiple communities and subreddits and 4chan boards of people.
With the logo and the link.
Yeah. Just so they can also see how wrong and how gosh darn stupid we are.
What will we ever do if that happened?
Yeah.
All right, as always, we wrote it, we produced it, we built all the sets. Thank you for listening. Good night, everybody.
So yeah.